In this video, we will be seeing the control statements of C programming. So control statements are the statements which are used in our program for controlling the execution flow. So how the program executes, that we can control using the control statements. So we can say these are used for controlling program's execution flow or flow of execution. So control statements in C programming are categorized into three types. So types of control statements we have are decision making, looping, and then loop control. So decision making, we also call it as conditional because we will be providing a condition, and based on the condition, whether it is true or false, a decision is taken. So we will be specifying a condition in a program, and based on condition result, the result is decided. So that's the reason it is called as decision making or conditional. And in case of looping, we will be executing same set of statements repeatedly till the specified condition is true. So these looping statements are also called as iteration statements. So the next one is loop control, which are also called as jump statements. So based on a condition, we will be using these statements to jump from one part of program to another. So these are called jump statements or jump control statements or loop control statements. So these are the three categories of control statements which we are having in the C programming. So now in the first category, again, it is classified into different types of decision making statements. So let's first define it. So in this type, condition is specified and based on condition, decision is taken. And in this decision making, we are having if statement, if else statement, if else if else statement, and we also have switch statement. Now, other than this four, we are having the nested if. We can nest the if statement in if or if else, or also in any if else. So when we are writing the if statement inside another if for any block, then it is called nested if. So these are the types of decision making statements we have in C programming. The next one is the looping or iteration. So when we say looping or iteration, here in this type, we specify condition. So in all the types of statements, there will be a condition based on which the statement is executed. So we specify a condition, and till the condition is satisfying or true, the loop is executed or the block of statements are repeatedly executed. So we specify a condition until the condition is true. The statements, it can be single statement or multiple statements, are executed repeatedly in loop. So in this type, we specify a condition. Until the condition is true, the statements are executed repeatedly in loop. And this type of statements are also, or this loop execution is also called as iteration. And in this, we are having for loop, while loop, and do while loop. So these are the three types which we have in looping or iteration. Then comes the loop control or jump statements. Suppose in case we want to control the loop or the statements which are continuously executing, in case if we want to stop them in middle, then we can specify a jump condition, and then we can use this jump statements like break or continue or go to for jumping from one part of program to other. So in case of break, it will stop the execution and comes out of the block. In case of continue, it stops execution of block only for current cycle and continues with the next cycle. In case of go to, it specifies a label to which it will be jumping, and then whatever statements are present under that label, those are executed. So we can go to a label, and under that label, whatever statements are specified, those are executed. So these loop control statements used for jumping from one part of program to another. Again, this is done based on condition. So in this type also, we specify a condition, and based on condition result, we jump whether we want to jump from one part to another, that is decided. So used for jumping from one part to another by or based on condition result. So these are the types present in loop control or jump statement. So these are control statements which we have in C programming. So now we will be seeing in practical directly each of these statements, how we execute. So for that, I am using here Dev C++ IDE. So I have opened here Dev C++ IDE. You can see to create a new file, go to File and New Source File. So now this is a new file where we can write the program. So I am writing a basic program first, like include stdio.h. And then I am starting with the main function, and within the main I will just give a message or a heading control statements, and this will be printed on screen as the heading. Now first we will be using the if statement, which is one of the decision making statements. So for using if statement, the syntax is if keyword followed by the condition in parentheses, and then we write the block of statements. And whatever condition we are mentioning here in this parenthesis, if that is true, then only the block will get executed, otherwise it will not get executed. So for giving a condition, I am here first declaring a variable ID for which I will be giving the condition. So here I will be comparing if ID is greater than 25. So if ID is greater than 25, then it will print. Let's take ID value first. We will be printing ID value and class B. So if ID is greater than 25, we will be printing the ID value along with class B as message. And then I will come out of the if statement and I just print thank you message. So now to execute this program, first save it. You can save it in your desired location. So I'm going to iDrive where I'm creating a new folder and I'm giving the name as control statements. So in this folder as if, I'm giving the name of program as if statement. You can give any name according to your requirement. I'm giving if statement and save as type C source file and save. So if statement dot C. Now this is the program which we have written where the heading will be control statements and then if statement is the next heading. So I can give here spaces or just you can use a /t to give a tab of space. And here also I'm giving /n so that it comes to a new line. And then we will be printing the ID value for which I'm giving /n again. And thank you again /n. So whenever we give /n, it comes to a new line. When /t, it will give a tab of space. So execute first, compile to check for errors. There are no errors or warnings, and then you can run the program. So upon running the program, we got control statements, if statement, thank you. But you can see we did not give ID value. That is the reason it is not printed. So we will be taking the ID value from user. So we will ask the user to enter ID. And when the user enters ID, we will use scanf to scan it. So for scanning, we will be using a %d as format specifier and ID. We will be placing it in the address of ID. So now you can see we have taken ID and then we will be comparing it with the user. So enter ID. If I give 45, so here again, ID is here. User will be entering ID. So integer ID, we have given a message to user to enter ID. And we are scanning the ID and keeping in the address of ID. We are checking if ID is greater than 25. If it is greater than 25, ID will be printed. So what should be printed in place of %d? We did not give in this statement. That's the reason we are getting error. So ID we should give here. So %d place what should be substituted is given after the comma. So again compile and then run. So ID if I now give 45, I get ID 45 class B, thank you. And in case if you want to here also give /n, here we'll remove /t. Enter ID 123 and we get ID is 123 class B, thank you. So this is how if statement is executed. Now let's take another program or a file for writing if else statement, that is the second type. So I'm copying the same program, pasting in this. Now the second type is if else. Now in case of if else, it is almost same like if statement. The only thing is we will be writing an additional else block here. So if the condition is true, the if block gets executed, and if the condition is false, the else block is executed. So in case of if else, the syntax is if condition followed by if block of statements, then else the another block of statements which are written under the else block. So when we write things under else block, they are executed when the condition is false. The condition which is mentioned here, if it is false, then the else block gets executed. So if it is greater than 25, then we are sending the student to class B. And if it is not, then let's say class A. So everything same, just I have written a statement in else also. And there is an additional else block which is attached or written under if block. So if I compile, so we need to save it. So I'm saving it as C source file, and I'm giving now if else as the name. So now when I compile, I get 0 errors, and when I run, I get enter ID. I'm giving 12, which is less than 25. And you can see the else block got executed and we got the message as class A. So this is the output for if else. Next is if else if else. So the next one is if else if else statement. So in this type, again, the syntax is almost same, but to add multiple conditions, we will be using else if block. So in the same if else block, if you want more than one condition, you can see in if and if else we have only one condition. But in case if you want more than one condition, then we can write here that conditions. So first we will be checking if it is greater than 50, then we will be checking if it is greater than 25. And not just one, but more than one else if you can have in between if and else. So I am here giving, so class, if it is greater than 25, class B, and let's take here C. So we have provided more than one condition. You can also use more number of else if statements to provide more number of conditions, but here I'm taking only one. So if it is greater than 25, we get class B, and if it is greater than 50, we get class C. So let's check what will be the result. So execute, compile first, execute, run then. So it will give you enter ID. If I'm giving 12, I get class A, which is part of else, which are the statements present in else. So it is giving class A because we are giving less than 25. If I give greater than 25 but less than 50, that is if I give 35 as ID, I get class B, which is coming from else if part. And again, if I compile and execute, now if I give 55, then I get class C. So based on which condition is satisfying, that block of statements are executed. So this is about if else if else. So for this, I will be taking a new source file and I will be saving this program. So I made changes to if else only, but here I'm keeping in a separate file. So let's, in if else, I'm removing this. So this will be saved as C source file where I will be writing if else if else. So this is the result which we got for if else if else. Now let's take another new file. Sorry. So where I will be copying the same and pasting again here. So you can change in all the programs the heading also, like second one is if else and the third is if else if else. So else if else. And the fourth, we are going to use the switch statement. So in case of switch statement, we will be having the cases. So this is not the syntax which we will be following. The syntax which we follow for switch statement is switch keyword followed by the variable which you want to compare. So in our case, the variable is ID, and within the switch we will be having cases, and beside case we will be writing the case values, and the last one will be the default case which will get executed when no case is matching. So case values I am giving here as 20. So the variable value with which we are comparing is ID. So it is of type integer. So beside the case, we need to write only the integer values. And default case gets executed when no case is matching. And after writing the case and case value, we will be writing a colon followed by the statements for execution. So statements which we will be executing are printf, and I will be writing ID and ID value first. And what should be substituted in place of ID is ID. In place of percentile %d is ID. Now, other than this, I will also write here class I or class. So if they are belonging to this ID, then I will be taking classes like I, J, and K. And default, we will be taking the class as A. So if it is 20, 30, 40, I, J, K, else we will be keeping all other students in A class. So now so here we need to write break, but I am not writing break for now. So first compile it. So before compiling, save the file. I'm giving the file name as switch, and then compile it, run it. So if I give the value as 45, I get class A, which is the default case because no other case is matching. If I give as 30, then I will be getting 30 also, and class I, J, J, K, and also A. All the three classes I am getting because when we are not writing here break, the matching case gets executed and all the cases which are following the matching case will also get executed. So to avoid that, we write here break so that only the matching case will execute and then it comes out of the block. So after matching case gets executed, we want to if you want to come out of the block, then you can write break there. Now I have again compiled and run. Now I am giving 30 again. So I got only class J here. Similarly, if I give 20, I get class I. And if I give 40, I get class K. So based on what value you are passing for ID, if it is matching with the case, if it is matching with the case, then that case gets executed. Statements under that case will get executed. Here you can write single or multiple statements. And if you want to execute only the matching case, then you should write here break compulsory. But if you want to execute the matching case and also the following case, then you can skip this break. So this is how switch statement is written in C programming. Now we will be seeing how to write nested if. So for that, I'm copying the if statement, pasting here, and here we will be using heading as nested if. And nested if is nothing but if statement inside another if statement. So here I have copied the outer if and placed inside the if the same thing. So you can see this is the if statements which we have kept inside the outer if. Now, first it will check this condition. If ID is greater than 25, then it will print this. And also if it is greater than 50, suppose, then I will be giving here some message like or seat. So class B, and within class B, seat number 25. If the ID is greater than 50 also. So compile, save it as C source file, and we will be using it as if nested. So zero errors or warnings we got, and then run. So if I give like 45, which is not greater than 50, then we get only class B. But if I give 55, then I get seat number 25. So seat number 25 I will be getting if the ID is greater than 50. So this is how nested if is used in a C program. Now we will be going to the second category, looping. So the second category of control statements is looping. Third is loop control, and the first was, which we have completed, decision making or conditional. So we have completed in decision making the if statement, if else statement, if else if else statement, which is used for giving multiple conditions, switch statement, which will contain cases, and the nested if, where if is kept inside another if statement. So these are the statements which are present in decision making. Now next is looping statements, where we have for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Now first we will be seeing the for loop. So for that, I am just here copying and pasting the if statement. Now this if statement I'm not using here. So ID taking from user till there, I have copied the program. Now, now to use the for loop, for keyword followed by, we will be having three expressions. The first one will be the initialization part, where I will be using a variable to which I am giving the initial value as 0. The second one will be the condition, where I can give a condition according to our requirement, which I am giving as the I value till it is less than ID. And then the third expression will be a increment or decrement part. So I am here incrementing the I value by 1 if I use here the unary operator, unary increment operator. Then I will be printing the I value till it is less than the given ID by user. So I value, as it is integer, I'm using the format specifier %d, and I will be writing here I. So this will be executed like, first it will initialize I to 0. I value will be 0. Then it will check if I value is greater than the ID entered by user. If it is so, if this condition is true, then it will print I value. And then it will increment the I value by 1. And then again it will check the condition. So till this condition is true, it is going to print I value continuously by incrementing for every cycle by 1. So if I compile, so first save it always before compiling. So here We got some error because we did not write here. So the starting part did not get copied this. So include statement, all this did not get copied. So here if I compile, I get 0 errors or warnings, and then when I run, I get enter ID. If I enter 5, it will print I value as 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4 till it is less than 5. So when it is 5, it stops. And if you want to every time print I value in a new line, then slash n you can use. Now again, if I compile and run, enter ID, now I'm going to give 8. Starting from 0, it will print till 7. If you want from 1 to 8, then you can initialize the value to 1 and you can write here till less than equal to ID. Then compile and run. And if I give now 8, I get 1 to 8. So this way we can execute the same statement again and again till this given condition is true. So this is called looping. So in a loop, the same statement is getting executed again and again till this condition is true. Every time for every cycle, this condition is checked and these statements are executed in a loop. So this was for loop in C programming. Next, we will be seeing the while loop. So in case of while loop, everything is same like for loop. The only thing which we have different is the initialization will be going in the beginning. Then in place of for keyword, we write the while. Beside while, there will be a condition only. So while keyword followed by the condition, set of statements to be executed, and after the statements are executed, we keep the incrementing of variable. So in while loop, the syntax is while condition set of statements for execution if the condition is true. So till this condition is true, the statements are executed. So this will work same as the for loop which we have done. So compile it. So first save it. Then here I will be writing while. So after compilation, 0 errors or warnings and then run. So we will be getting, if I give 8, 1 to 8. So you can change the heading here. I'm giving as while loop. So whenever you do changes to the program, you should always compile again. So 1 to 5. So this is the output. So that was while loop. And same way we have another loop also, which is the third type in looping, that is do while loop. So I'm copying the same program again, pasting here. And in case of do while loop, the condition along with while keyword will go to the ending here, followed by a semicolon. So condition is checked in the ending, that is at last, and the statements are executed after the do keyword. So they are kept after the do keyword. So do statements first, do execute statement first, and then check the condition. So this is also working the same way as for loop and while loop. So compile and run. So save it first. So save it as do while. So do statements first, then check the condition next. So I'm giving 6. 1 to 6 will be printed. And because here while is the heading, we got while. Again, if I compile and run, and if I give 4 and then I get 1 to 4. So the statements will be repeatedly executed till this condition is true. Now, what is the difference between for while and do while? Now, in case of for, as we have three expressions here, we will be knowing by seeing the lower limit and upper limit, we know that how many cycles will be there in for loop. So, number of cycles in the loop we will be knowing just by seeing the lower limit and upper limit of the counter. Whereas in while, it is not compulsory to give lower and upper limit. Whatever condition we give here, based on that result, the statements are executed repeatedly. So here we will not be knowing the number of cycles in case of while. And in case of while and do while, the difference is in case of do while, the statements are executed first and then the condition is checked, because of which, even if the condition is false, the statements are executed at least for once. Because after the statements are executed, then the condition is checked. So if condition is false also, the statements are executed for once in case of do while, which is not in while. So that was about the looping statements. Now next we will be moving to break, continue and go to, which comes under the loop control statements. So here I will be using the for loop for using that break, continue. So I'm pasting the for loop program here and I will be using break with for loop. So here we have for loop where we will be printing 1 to whatever is the ID value till there. So in between, I want to give a condition if I equal to 5, then break. And last statement I will be writing after every I value, I want to give a message, thanks. So let's see. So here we got semicolon did not keep, so that's why error. So if I give the ID value as 9, I will be getting till 1 to 4 only the thanks message, and when it is 5, it will break and it is not even printing thanks and it is coming out of the for loop. The control of execution comes out of the for loop. So that is about break. So whenever break is encountered, it will stop execution immediately at that point and it will come out of that particular block in which it is present, and the control of execution is transferred immediately from this place to line 20 here, that is outside of the for loop. Now let's see what is continue. So same I'm copying. Continue is also used in the same way like break. So instead of break, I'm here now writing continue. So let's see what is the difference. So compile. So before compiling, always save. So zero errors or warnings and then run it. So now if I give 9 as ID, I will get only for 5 the remaining statements of block are skipped after continue. Then the from the 6th cycle again it is continuing. So only for the 5th cycle when the continue was encountered, that is when it was 5 the I value, it has skipped this remaining part of block. So in the for loop block, here after continue whatever statements are there, those are skipped and it continues with the next cycle, that is 6, 7, 8, 9. So first it has printed 5, that's why I5 is printed. Then it has checked the I value with 5 whether it is equal to 5. If it is 5, then continue. Continue means it will continue with the next iteration, but it will skip the current iteration, current cycle. So that is the reason it stops only for current cycle but continues with next cycle, unlike break. So that was continue. And the last now in control statements is go to. So in case of go to, we can give a condition based on which we can go to a particular label. So here the heading I'm writing as go to. So go to, how it is used is after taking the if id greater than 5, go to label. No need of giving any condition here. You can just check and then go to message, and you can give semicolon here. Somewhere you can keep a message, a colon, and then printf welcome. Now if suppose I'm not giving any condition, just I have given go to message and so message will be printed. And after that message, printf the id value. Your id is %id, comma id. So save the program first. I'm saving it as go to. So zero errors or warnings. And then when you run, give the id. I'm giving as 9. So it is printing welcome, but not the id because it has skipped this part, and it is from 14th line directly going to 18th line and executing the statements under this. So it is skipping this part of program. Now if I give a condition, so if I am giving id as 4, it is giving the id, it is not skipping, but still it is executing go to. So if I'm giving id greater than, so let's write welcome in a new line. So if this condition is true, then it will skip this part and it will execute this. But if condition is false, then it will not skip any lines but still execute this message. So for jumping from one part to another part, you can give a condition and then, so here if I give 7, it is just printing welcome. But if I give 3, then it will print id value and also welcome. So if it is greater than 5, then it is skipping this statement, which is printing id. But if it is less than 5, then it is printing id. So goto will help you to go to a particular part in your program using a label, which we have used here, MSG. So label name, anything you can give. The syntax is goto keyword followed by a label and semicolon. Then somewhere in program, according to requirement, you can keep the label, then colon, then statements under that label to be executed. So this was goto statement in C programming. So we have covered all the categories and types of statements under control statements of C programming. So thank you for watching the video, and for more topics of C programming, please do subscribe the channel. Also on this channel, you will be finding other computer programming languages.